What's up YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back, and today we're going to do a little bit of a mixed coin roll hunt. We've got $192 here in mixed change. This is sort of almost a 50-50 split between some rolls we picked up from one of our local Fifth Third banks, and the other 50% were picked up from one of the local Wells Fargo branches. I don't remember which rolls came from which. What I can tell you is that I do have a San Francisco business strike already on the ender of one of my quarter rolls, so I'm kind of excited about that. But we'll get to hunt a little bit of pennies, little nickels, little dimes, and some quarters. So this should be a fun one. I'm looking forward to it. So let's jump into it. So we're actually going to start with our pennies. Now, in full transparency, I picked up about $10 or $12 worth of pennies, but I weighed them all, because that's something I do when I get a lot of customer rolls. I like to weigh them to see, are they going to be overstuffed or understuffed? And typically in my dimes, I'm understuffed. In pennies, it's tough to say, because at 126 grams, they could be all zinc. They could be understuffed with zinc and overstuffed with copper. Which, if you didn't know, copper pennies weigh 3.1 grams, while zinc pennies weigh 2.5 grams. So you can make up for a shortfall in zinc pennies with just a handful of your copper pennies. And nearly all of my penny rolls weighed almost exactly 126 grams. So I just set those aside, and I'm going to take them back to the bank. But I thought here real quick on camera we could do one roll. You can see these are kind of gross. But I'm going to see if we can pull at least the copper out of here, and hopefully we'll get lucky and find some wheat pennies. Now, I do have a 1970 here. This is going to be copper. So if you didn't know, 1982 was the last year that we minted pennies in copper. It was a split year, so you have to weigh them. A 1982 penny could be 2.5 grams, or it could be 3 grams. A copper penny is worth 3 cents in copper melt value. So a copper penny today is worth more as its precious metal, or I shouldn't say precious metal because copper is not a precious metal, but its metal content value is higher than the actual coin itself. So it's not looking good here. I can't tell what that is. That's an 89. All right, these guys are really gunky, so what we're going to do is other little cheat that I use all the time. If I can't read a date on them, I weigh them to see if they're worth keeping. So at 2.4 grams, no. 2.5 grams, no. 2.5 and 2.5. So I don't think that I have any other copper in there, just the one 1970. All right, with that, I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to hunt these last 3 penny rolls. Hopefully we'll get a bit more copper out of those than just this one. And we'll do a wrap-up between each denomination. Well, the pennies were pretty much a bust because all we came away with was a 2009 Philly. This is one of the 4 lower mintage commemorative pennies. This one, I believe, is called the Professional Life. There were 4 designs on it. It had the early childhood, the formative years, the professional life, and the Capitol Dome. And we did get just a tiny bit of copper out. So think of these as 3 cents a piece, give or take. So 3, 6, 9... 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27 cents in copper we just picked up. Now, I do get the question all the time, where would I sell this for 27 cents? And the answer is today, nowhere. Unless, you found somebody who is buying it bulk for copper, which they're not doing today. So I just have a giant 5-gallon bucket where I toss these things in for a rainy day because it doesn't cost me much to hang on to these longer term. Now, these were quarters or nickels or 50-cent pieces that were only worth 3 or 4 cents, over face value, it wouldn't be worth hanging on to, but they're 300% face value. So I'm willing to gamble for a few pennies. So we're actually going to move on to our dimes next because this is another coin that we're mainly just hunting for silver, and we can do that by looking at edges. I do not look for varieties when I look at dimes, so that means I'm not looking for mint marks, I'm not looking for errors. I'm literally just checking these edges, looking for silver. And I just recently did a dime video where I did find some silver. So if you want to know what that edge looks like, you can head on over and check out that video. And if I get lucky and find one in here, you'll get to see it right here. But that is $5 worth of dimes already searched. So I'm going to keep going through these. If we don't find anything, I'll fast forward just to keep the length of the video down. All right, well, we're on our last roll of dimes. This has been not terribly productive when it comes to finds, but that's okay. We know when we get dimes, it's going to be hit or miss anyway. As I said in my last dime video, I actually got a silver dime just picking up 2 rolls from a teller. And then I did a video just the other day where we went through a whole bunch of rolls of dimes and just found 1 as well. And I've done entire boxes and not found silver. So, you know, when you just pick up a few rolls, you can't expect to get lucky every time. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and move on to the nickels. All right, well, let's get into these nickels. We got 20 rolls, or $20 worth, which is 10 rolls. I'm actually going to open 1 of the customer wrap rolls here and 1 bank wrap just to kind of see what we have inside. If we have anything old or interesting looking jumping out at us. $64 looks like it's about the oldest one in there, and I did it quick, so I might have missed something. I will definitely go back through these and look at each and every nickel. Now, we are looking for any nickel that's 1959 and older. We are looking for Buffalo nickels. We're looking for V nickels. And most importantly for me, I'm looking for our 1942 to 1945 nickels because those are called war nickels. They were minted I think around or during World War II, and it's where they took all of the copper out of these things and replaced it with silver. So they're actually 35% silver. All right, I don't see anything in there either, but we always love finding our war nickels. I have tubes, well, I would say tubes and tubes of them. I probably have 8 or 10 tubes of them, and I just really enjoy finding war nickels when I hunt these things. So I'll get in here. I'll bring you in for any find between or earlier than 1959, and hopefully we'll find some good stuff. Well, we have 4 rolls left, or we're really 4 from the end here. It's been real slow, nothing really much to speak of, but we did come across our first foreign. We've got ourselves a 2001 Canadian, and it's been well circulated, and I do hang on to all my Canadians, so kind of neat to find it. We'll put it right up here as a keeper. So we're cracking into our very last roll of nickels, and we've got double stuffed nickels here that are not stuffed correctly here. Let's take a look. I think we got a penny and a dime. Let's just take those out. Let's see here. We did get a penny. That is so beat up. I don't know if we can tell what year it is. It's going to be a current one. I can just tell by the way it looks. And what else did we have in here? I know I saw it. There it is. We also got stuffed with a dime, a 2014P. So we lost 4 cents here. We made 9 cents here. So at the end of the day, we're making money, man. Outside of that, though, these nickels have been pretty sad. Not a single coin that has been earlier than 1962. So let me get through these. If we don't find anything, we're going to go ahead and jump in to these quarters. So we're going to go ahead and start on these quarters with the 1 roll that I know we've got a San Francisco business strike in. Now, if you don't know what that San Francisco business strike means, they've minted proof coins and business strike coins out of San Francisco for some time. And the business strike is a matte finish, right? So it's going to look like any other quarter, maybe a little shinier, but not much. It will have that S mint mark on it, and it typically has maybe a little bit nicer strike than other coins. And we've got, I accidentally dropped it, a 2018 Wisconsin. I find lots of 2018 San Francisco business strikes. The other San Francisco minute coins will be proofs. They'll have a frosted finish on the details and a mirrored background. So proofs are really tough to miss unless they're super well circulated, which they shouldn't be, right? I mean, they're proofs. They were sold in proof sets. They should not even be in circulation. And that's why when I find them, typically no matter the condition, I hang on to them. Now, if you're curious what we're looking for when we look through these quarters, I'm really at this point just looking for anything that's really, really nice looking. I'm looking for a whole host of mint errors. A lot of them are just basic die chip errors or double die obverses or reverses. And I do have that document in the description down below this video, as well as all of my coin roll hunt videos, that has a document that has all of the things that I look for. And usually in most of my videos, I do try to give you guys a value or at least current comps from eBay on the things that I'm finding, so you understand why we might be looking for it and pulling it from circulation. Now, I get asked all the time about, what are the nicest coins or the oldest coins, or what coin have I made the most money on, and I'll answer those for you guys here real quick. The coin I've made the most that I've actually sold, it was a 2022 Wilma Mankiller. It looked like this one. It had a giant die crack through it, or it was a cracked planchet actually, that went through the whole coin. I think I made like $270, $280 on that selling it. But I think the coolest quarter I've ever found was I think it was an 1853 seated quarter. I didn't sell that one. That's one I've kept in my collection, and I don't ever plan on selling it. But it was an amazing find in a quarter box. And those are the types of coins that define why I do this, because I love the rarity of them. I'm not doing this to get rich, but if I can find a quarter that's worth a whole lot of money, of course I'm not too afraid to sell it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the rest of these quarter rolls. As I find things, I'll bring you in and we'll talk about the coins and the values. So we are 7 rolls from the end. We're, I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way through, and we've come across our first error of maybe some level of significance. This is the 2023 Philadelphia Bessie Coleman quarter, and you can see it without me putting it under magnification, but we've got a pretty nice sized die chip up here on the top wing of the biplane. And I'll put it under the scope here for you guys to see it a little bit better. But all of this metal here is not supposed to be there. Now, this die chip can present itself in a lot of different ways on this particular airplane. I've seen them here, I've seen them in here, I've seen them out here. I've seen lots and lots of different presentations of this die chip. Now, I looked on eBay today, and this thing seems to be going for anywhere between like a quarter, and I saw some going as high as like $9.99. I saw one for $19.99. I don't know who's buying these, but that seems really, really high. Now, at the end of the day, I have seen it kind of settle in more kind of around that $4 or $5 range if you have a good-sized die chip. And this one I think would qualify for that. It's kind of a nice big die chip. It's almost a doubled die chip, if you will. It's not like a double die obverse or a reverse or anything like that, but we almost have 2 big die chips there. So, if I were going to sell this on eBay, I'd probably throw it up there for $4 or $5 with some free shipping and see what I could get for it, which even after fees and an envelope, that wouldn't be too bad for something I paid a quarter for. So we have 4 rolls left, and we're actually on roll 4 from the end, and I've got myself a 2023 Philadelphia Kanaka Ole. And if you've been following my channel for any length of time, I cover this die chip in the K and the A quite a bit, and I kind of said I was going to stop covering that because it's just so common to find. But if you haven't seen it yet, this is one that I am still looking for, and it's the die chip on top of the mountain. So let's get that here under the scope so you guys can see it. Right here. So this big hunk of metal here between the top of the mountain and the letter F is not supposed to be there. And as I was saying in the beginning of this little clip here, we have the die chips here in the incused K. Oftentimes you'll also see it here in the A, which means this coin has 2 die chips on it. Now, looking on eBay, these things are going for anywhere from about $1, $1.25 to, I see some listings in November for this particular error that looks very, very similar to this for $6. I think that's probably a stretch, but I, again, would love to get $6 for something I paid a quarter for. Well, we have reached the end of our hunt, and we haven't come up with anything else. Now, I don't feel like we found as much as we normally do, but this was also a fairly small hunt for me at $192. But I was pleased with what we found in the quarters, and I'm going to do a quick recap of everything from the video pretty quickly here. So we have the Kanaka Ole that has the die chip, or it's also known as the erupting volcano, where that die chip is up on top of that volcano. And we also had a little bit of an incused die chip on this coin. And I have been putting the total value of all this stuff on the screen as we've gone. The Bessie Coleman, we had the decent die chip up here on the airplane wing. You can probably see that just with the camera. We did have an Ender San Francisco Business Strike 2018 Wisconsin. I'll be hanging on to that for sure. We only ended up with 2 Philadelphia bicentennial quarters and 1 Denver minted bicentennial quarter, and I mention this in every single video I do, that I check this for the double die. And the reason for that, if you don't know, is if you get the big double die obverse where there's heavy doubling in the E and the R, and honestly, I think it's in more of the letters up there, and even doubling down here and in God We Trust. In G4 condition, which means a pretty cruddy condition, it starts at about $20. If you get up to low mint state, it's worth as much as about $700. So that is always a coin that I have my eye out for as I get my bicentennials. And that's why people buying bicentennial rolls on eBay, that's why they're paying a lot for them. They're hoping to get a roll that might have one of those. Unfortunately for me, when I sell them, they've already been searched. So with that, we did come down here. We talked about our copper. We had about 27 cents in copper, not pennies themselves or cents themselves. That's what the copper value is there. We had one 2009 Capital Dome that I'll be tossing back. We did get one Canadian nickel in our nickel hunt, and we were misstuffed in a roll by 1 penny and 1 dime. And at the end of the day, that puts me out, I think, a penny ahead. If you don't subtract the 5 cents for me having a Canadian nickel that I can't technically spend here. But overall, I had a lot of fun. I was happy to get the finds we had in the quarters, but not a bad hunt for just $192. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, drop on down below, click that like button, and leave me a comment. If you're new to the channel and you like coin roll hunts, make sure you drop down below, click on that subscribe button, and then click that little bell and select all so you get notified each and every time I release a new video. Special shout out to my channel members. I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel month after month. It means a lot. Thank you guys so much. And for those of you that don't know, there is a join button down below. You can click on that and check out what the memberships get you. And one of the main things is that I do release all my videos early to members. Usually it's only about a day early, but you guys get access to content early. There's some other perks that you can read about in there if you like, but that's one of the main ones you get at all levels. I am creeping up here on 10,000 subscribers, so I may have to, in the new year, do some sort of 10,000 subscriber giveaway blast. That should be a lot of fun. I've started giving it some thought, but I haven't completely crystallized that yet, so stay tuned to the channel. We'll talk about that more probably in January. So with that, you guys take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.